Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for staying by for my session. Very warm welcome. Um, so a bit about myself. I'm looking after the MTech Digital Leadership Program at ISS. I joined NUS about 3 years back. Other than the MTech program, I also get myself engaged in some consulting work. I also teach 3 modules out of the 9 modules in the MTech Digital Leadership Masters. Prior to NUS, I was with GIC for quite a number of years, and I was last holding the role as the Master IT Planner. My background is application development, project management, and I've done the various certification program over the years. Okay, so today we are going to cover this hardware about digital transformation. We'll go through this agenda. Hopefully there will be also some interaction among us. So get ready your phone. We will do some poll along the way, and I will talk about the new leadership approach. And if time permits, I will also give a very brief talk about the MTech leadership program that ISS is offering. Okay, so let's just start with some definition. So what is digital transformation? Essentially today, every business is a digital business, right? And every organization is going through transformation to change itself from the traditional business model to a digital business model. So it's no longer a question of whether we will be or if we will be, but really how much a business should make itself to become a digital business. And as we talk about Industry 4.0, right, the transformation is not just happening at the organization or company level, but it's also at industry level where the whole industry sector, whole ecosystem are being disrupted by technology and by transformation. So while technology is at the core of every transformation, but really the digital transformation is not just about technology, it's always about people, people with new ways of working together and people thinking differently. So it's always technology enabled by people led. So fundamentally, transformation is about change in the way we live, change in the way we work, and change in the way we apply and exploit technology. Okay, I just wanted to mention this. I'm not sure how many of you know Amaras Law. Many of you may know Moore's Law, but Amaras Law says that we tend to overestimate the immediate term, okay, what is happening around us, but underestimate the long term. Okay, so if you think about a lot of the technology innovation, many would be hype, okay, many would be trends that we are seeing, and the tendency is that some of this technology we may overstate or overestimate its potential and its impact in the short term. But hopefully digital transformation is not something that we underestimate. In fact, it's happening. So it won't be like internet, right? Where just about 20 years ago, people think that it's a passing fad. But transformation and digitalization is here to stay. Okay, so needless to say, transformation is a new normal. So the news on the left is just yesterday, right? So the announcement here where public sector is going to spend another 3.8 billion to boost transformation, to boost digitalization. So there is a lot of money going into enabling the whole public sector to be able to become even more digitalized. And clearly, as what we've seen, pandemic, the COVID has speed up transformation. A lot of opportunity in the region where SME go digital, so it adds to $1 trillion the GDP should ASEAN embark on serious digital transformation work. Okay, so transformation is also about people. I think important, the technology is important, but more importantly, also the building of the people foundation. So this article talks about how to ensure there is a people foundation where leaders lead through purposeful vision to enable the transformation push. And employees also need to understand their contribution and what role they can play to enable the organization to go on to the transformation journey. So skills training, awareness, capability building are very essential. Okay, Industry 4.0, we talk about that a lot, but when you do speak to organization across different sectors in different industry, really people are not all at Industry 4.0, right? Many sectors, many companies are 2 going to 3, 3 going to 4. And our government is clearly very determined. Our strategy for Industry 4.0 is our Smart Nation initiative, our Smart Nation strategy. So this is here to stay. I'd just like to talk about 2 challenges facing leadership for enabling digital transformation. Okay, challenge number 1, I think we all know we're living in a VUCA world. Complexity, volatility, uncertainty, ambiguity, not just within the organization itself going through changes, but also being able to manage changes and disruption from the external world, which sometimes may not be controllable, and sometimes may not be easy for the organization to navigate. But as a leader, then the question becomes how does leader thrive and harvest the VUCA world? How do they thrive in the complex world? So relating to this is also digital transformation. We know the transformation journey is one that is complex, is uncertain, is risky, and of course it's expensive. So a lot of times we put out a transformation initiative. It's very difficult, very often very difficult to pin down the exact ROI, pin down the real end goal and benefit. So the challenge becomes for the leader to be able to convince and to motivate people to come onto the journey to want to take on the transformation work. Okay, so thinking in a VUCA world, how do you respond to each of these uncertainty? Okay, so the second challenge I wanted to highlight is this staff engagement. Okay, something which would have impact to leaders who are taking on transformation work, right? So if you look at this, which is published in 2018, the level of engagement of staff, okay, workers in Singapore is not very high, right? You look at it at 11%. It's a low number, even though we may rank quite highly, you know, compared to the other countries listed here. So I've taken a look, right? Taking a look at the most recent report, right, where Singapore is in Southeast Asia is 13%, right, on the right, lowest among all the Southeast Asian country. As a whole, Southeast Asia is number 4 on the ranking, okay, of most engaged workers comes from the North America, US. So there lies the challenge, right, for the leaders who are taking a troop, is people to go through the transformation, and how do leaders be better able to motivate and encourage the staff to be engaged in the transformation journey. So I just highlight these 2 challenges as a backdrop for leaders to think about when they want to take on a transformation project. Okay, so other studies have found that many of the digital transformation initiative actually fail, right? So up to 70%. McKinsey put this number down, so it's a high percentage. So with all the good intent, resourcing, maybe commitment from the management and what have you, we're still looking at a high percentage of transformation work that fails. So the question is, why do we think the effort fail? Why are some organizations able to be more successful than the others? And how do leaders actually prepare himself, herself, in order to lead a successful transformation? Okay, so at this point, yeah, I would like to maybe crowdsource a bit of inputs from the audience. Why do you think, right, from your experience in public sector, you've done projects, why do you think transformation initiative fail? Okay, so if I may invite you to go to pollev.com, this website here, and try to think about, okay, this list of challenges, right? The reasons why transformation couldn't succeed. And then provide your top three reasons, right? In your experience, in your past projects, why do you feel that the transformation work has failed? Okay, can we just take a few minutes to do that? Okay, so I hope the poll, okay, coming in. Okay, so just read through. Okay, they may sound similar, right? I mean, you will read through the reasons, but these are real reasons that I've collected over time, right? Talking to different people, um, um, how they feel, right? Reasons why projects fail, and let's see what comes back from this audience. Okay, just okay. We have 26, 28. Okay. Okay, all right. 35. Okay. 41. Okay, let me just show the response. Okay, 43, 44. Okay, all right. Okay. All right. So this comes back from more of you. Okay, so the number one, insufficient agile culture to constantly sense changes and respond to new disruption. Okay, so this is related to the VUCA world, right? The world is always changing. Things are never static for the organization, even as you plan out the transformation journey, which typically lasts 1, 2, or 3 years. But the world is changing. Okay, so how do you have the agile culture to be able to respond to those change? Okay, second on the list, unspoken disagreement among top leaders about goals. Okay, so that is really related to this topic, right? So the hardware, while people may openly support, people may openly give their commitment, but sometimes unspoken disagreement goes under the current, right? So it's really hardware related. And then we have other things like lack of drivers, where to focus resources. Okay, so resources might be there, but with different priority and emphasis may not be able to drive the resources to the right place, ineffective communication, change management strategy. Again, this is also hardware related. Okay, so but interestingly, nobody says that it's poor execution due to technical challenge. Okay, so quite clearly, right, from the poor people, the doing part, right, the doing part, the technical piece, is not the most challenging. It's all other things that is non technical. Okay, so that's interesting. So keep this in mind as we go along. Okay, so I wanted to just bring this up. Okay, so transformation, as we all know, we've seen from the previous slide, right, is about thinking. It's about thinking what needs to be done, right? It's about doing, okay, how to go about carrying out, implementing, executing, enabling the transformation. And then finally, it's about feeling. How do you inspire? How do you lead? How do you energize, empower? How do you bring people along the journey? So, so there's this among the three. There is no one that is more important than the other two, right? Study have shown you need elements of all the three in order to be successful. In fact, it says you have to have head, heart, hand, type of work going into the transformation to ensure a high chance of success. Okay, so I'll just quickly go through this. The head of transformation. So this is about creating the vision. So this is the thinking mind, right? The thinking ability, the activities that goes into strategizing and visioning what is a good future state eventually should when the transformation happen. So this is about strategy. This is about coming out with strategic options for enabling the transformation. Okay, so the way to look at this is that you have roadmaps, you have milestone, you use metrics to measure performance, and then you try to gather commitment, alignment with the different stakeholder. Okay, so essentially, this is about logical, analytical thinking part of the transformation. Of course, the challenge then is how do you ensure while you're doing the transformation, the vision can be achieved alongside with day-to-day BAU type of activity and constant change that is happening in the environment. Okay, then we have the hands of transformation. This is about execution. How do you do it effectively? How do you do it quickly? How do you do it before change starts to upset or fundamentally change the way the things that you want to do, right? So this is about doing, it's about execution. So here you use proven practices, methodology to deliver the various initiatives, right? Such as introducing new ways of working, such as bringing in new capabilities like agile, creating a innovative culture. How do you foster collaboration, partnership? How do you look at reordering the project and the organization structure to enable transformation? Okay, so it's about governance, it's about project tracking, it's about the talent pipeline to make sure that you have a well-staffed team to ensure you are able to execute the transformation work. Okay, so challenge for the leader is how then do you manage complexity? How do you manage interdependency across different project streams and project tracks under the transformation program? And how do you make sure that the transformation is a journey and not just a standalone project with a clear start and end, right? And then finally, we talk about the heart, right? So this is how do we inspire, empower people, and how do you get the people rallying behind the transformation work and persevere with a clear purpose, right? So this is about passion, and really this is a key role of leaders to be able to drive that passion in the team and the stakeholders and the customer who wants to believe in your journey. So heart is about addressing the why. Why do you want to do transformation? How do you bring about people on the journey, and so that people will go the extra mile to do what is needed. Okay, so the heart is about the softer aspect of the work, culture, behavior, value, motivation. How do you build human capital and eliminate human debt? Right. So fundamentally, heart is about how leader inspire and communicate. Okay, so I think it's quite clear. The hands is doing, the head is thinking, and the heart is about feeling inspiring. I want another poll from the audience. In the course of you doing the transformation, where do you place the attention and priority? Okay, so this poll will require you to order, right? It's just three choice. Where do you think, right? When you are driving a transformation program project, where do you think you focus most? Is it a head, is it a hand, or a heart? Okay, so if we just go to the poll and then provide your input. Okay, 6, 7, okay. Okay, 19. Let me just show the response. 20. Wait, wait, yep. Okay. Fortunately, I'm not able to show the percentage. I couldn't get the percentage to be displayed. Okay, right. Okay, so most attention on hey thinking, right? Thinking, and let me just show another. Okay, so comparatively, right? So I gotten this from a BGC analysis. Um, hey, thinking hard. Okay, so it does seem that the audience do pay attention to the hardware. Okay, uh, um, hence third. Which is, if you look at the BCG, is head, hand, and heart. Okay, so clearly, right? Because we are very logical in the way we want to ensure that the transformation is on the right track. So a lot of it goes to the planning, a lot of it goes to the thinking, but I'm also pleasantly surprised that people are also paying sufficient attention to the hardware part of it. Okay, so which is good. Okay, so if people are paying attention to the heart, then this becomes quite straightforward, right? And don't think need to show this video, right? I picked this up from this Simon Sinek, right? So he wrote a very popular book, Start with Why. Okay, in fact, the tech video is one of the most watched tech talk on YouTube, which you can go and listen if you have not. Okay, so he basically talks about the golden circle, right? So he says that every organization knows what they want to do. Okay, they have the products and the services that they sell, and they know exactly what they want to do. Okay, and organization who are differentiating themselves, who compete in the market, will know how to go about doing what they want to do. Okay, But the argument is very few organizations knows why they do what they do. Okay, so the why part is often missing. Um, and apparently there's some science behind this, right? Why do people often think less about the why? Because the brain very much, right, when it comes to gut feel, when it comes to feeling, behavior, decision making, the inner brain, which is the limbic brain, is the one controlling the why. Okay, so by the limbic brain, according to the science behind, is it doesn't have the understanding of language. Okay, the language part, the language processing of the brain is actually done by the neocortex part of the brain. Okay, so rational thinking, analytical processing, thoughts and languages are processed by a different part of the brain, which focuses on the action, which focuses on the what. Okay, so we often talk about gut feel. We often talk about heart before the mind, right? So how do you actually appeal to people when the inner brain actually do not necessarily connect, right? Connect with the neocortex part of the brain to be able to understand what is the rationale of doing what you want to do. Okay, so you try to draw an example, right? We all know that smoking is bad. Smoking is no good, right? The health impact of smoking is quite clear, but yet people still smoke, right? So now we are COVID, right? We are encouraging people to go for vaccination quite clearly, right? That the rational part, the science part of it is very clear. You protect yourself, you protect your loved ones, and you protect the people around you. But yet we are seeing that some people don't go for the vaccination. Okay, so the why part is often, while the brain may think that it is clear, it is not often communicated, right? For people to fully understand and for people to take action and drive the behavior that we want. Okay, so I think this is very famous example, right? We'll talk about creative MP3 player versus the iPod, right? Right, creative will talk about the what, right? We build a good MP3 player, whereas the iPod addresses the needs of putting songs that you can bring around in your pocket, right? So this is clearly how Apple differentiated itself and becomes a leader that changed the whole entire music industry. So thinking about why is important because if people do not understand the why you're doing certain things, people cannot relate and be your follower. So I just bring this up, right? We don't have a chance to discuss this very much. But I look at this, right? I mean, we are trying to roll out the SG QR code. It by itself is important, right? Because this try to remove duplicated QR code for e-payment, remove the need for a dedicated point of sale system, so on and so forth. And you get many different players, right, to be aligned to this whole e-payment initiative. But the question then we ask ourselves is, why would certain parts of the consumer or business do not want to come along, right? So recently we heard about the hawkers, right? Putting a lot of effort to try to bring the hawkers to embrace the e-payment, right? So so even in advertisement, right? We talk about what, we talk about how. I think what would be a lot more important is also to be able to communicate the why. Why do you want to launch this? Why do you want all the hawkers to come on board these new modes of payment? Okay, so why is the why part, the hardware so relevant for digital transformation? Um, and that is because digital transformation is a lot more fuzzy, right? With its unique sets of challenges. A lot of times when you embark on a transformation, you don't really know what is the end point. You don't know how the journey will turn out. Nobody will imagine, right? COVID comes along and we are disrupted in the way we do things, right? So transformation by itself, because it takes multi-year effort, it tends to be a lot fuzzy. And like what earlier on mentioned, people don't buy what you do, right? People buy why you do it. Okay, so the why is important. Being able to communicate why do your customer, the people wants to come onto the journey with you is important. Okay, and the tendency for all of us is we tend to communicate those parts of the transformation journey that is clearest, right? I've done project management, program management before. When you do a typical program plan, you put down, right, all the things that you need to do, right? All the different projects and how do you execute, implement, because that is the clearest and easiest to communicate. Okay, so many times we will put things like, for example, change management, communication, training, right, stakeholder engagement, looking at the culture aspect of things at the last part of the project plan. Okay, but those are in fact very important, right, to be designed and done right upfront in any transformation journey. Okay, so facts and figure make rational sense, right? We don't make decision purely based on facts and figures. Okay, so the problem is the what and the how do not inspire action. Okay, so you can always communicate numbers. You can always bring in the benchmarks, maturity model, and whatever to make good sense, right? Good rational sense of why we want to do the transformation. But we know that people do not think just rationally all the time, right? So start with why to inspire transformation is what digital leaders should do. Okay, so if I will make use of the golden circle, where this mentioned earlier on, we should really be communicating from the why to appeal to the people's emotion about why transformation is so important for the future, right? So we talk about storytelling, we talk about what is it in for me, we talk about culture, we talk about EQ to manage the transformation. Why do you want to disrupt status quo, right? We human are very comfortable with status quo, right? So the fact that you put the people, right, you put the organization through the transformation, you disrupt and you introduce change, and people naturally becomes uncomfortable. Okay, so if you can clear the why part, then you can talk about the what, right? So important is what do you want to achieve, right? What does success looks like during the transformation, after the transformation. This is the part that appeal to the people's logic, right? So if people can get over with the emotion part, right, of why you want to do the transformation, people can then tune in, right, to the logical part of the brain to think about why this transformation is good for me. Okay, and that is where you can start to bring in, we can start to bring in things like facts, trends, benchmarking, your strategy, your vision about the transformation, and try to convince people to want to put a hand in the stake of the game. And then finally, right, you know the what, you then need to, as leader, to be able to enable the team to be able to do the how, right? How does the team act to ensure success? How does your stakeholder, your customer, should behave, right, in order to be aligned and uh, be changed by your transformation work? What will appeal to people's knowledge of what they need to do to practically support the transformation? Okay, so here we talk about skills, we could talk about capability, talent, diversity, agility, and so forth. Okay, so I just bring this up as an example. Look at IKEA. IKEA is a Harvard article. IKEA's digital transformation is actually an interview conducted with the CDO. And I want to just go through this. So IKEA's vision, right, for the company is to create a better everyday life for its customer, right, for the people, right. So if you read how it was written, okay, so the CDO first started with why, right? Why it says that the digital transformation is not a goal in itself. There's so much more about technology, transforming the business, exploring new ways to offer to the customer, new ways to bring the offers to the customer, and new ways to operate the business. So the why part, if you read, it actually ties back to the vision, right? Whatever the transformation, the digital transformation aims to achieve is to offer new ways of operating a business that will help enable the vision, right? Creating better life for the people, for the customer. And then after the why, it looks at the what, right? So in order to be successful, digital needs to be embedded in every aspect of IKEA, right? Digital is a new way of working, making decision, managing the company. Transformation is about moving large number of people, and culture is important, right? So the CDO then articulate what needs to be done in order to enable the transformation. Okay, so the CDO importantly also appeal, right, to the value of the company, right? It says company value are about hard work, humbleness, being down to earth, and a strong entrepreneurial spirit. People want to go the extra mile for the company. So in itself, IKEA's employee are already practicing and enabling all this value, right? So the transformation vision itself, when you try to talk about the how, is also trying to align back to the value, which is why you say, I show through my behavior that I share the same value, and to have a open mind and believing in that many things are possible with the employee, right? So trying to relate back to the value of his staff, and trying to encourage the people that they are able to ensure that the transformation will be successful. Okay, so this is just an example how IKEA articulate its digital transformation vision, starting with the why before it covers the what and the how. Okay, so transformation is complex. Transformation has many moving parts, and certainly, right, we know the transformation is a team sport. Okay, so if you look at this page, this who needs to be on your digital transformation team, right? So obviously you have the technologies, you have the specialists, the security specialists, the business technology liaison, project managers, the finance people, marketeer, the implementation lead, the evangelist. Okay, so what is missing from here? What is clearly missing from here? I can't get a response. Okay, so if you look at all these roles, these are really the head and the hands type of roles, right? People, the one that really leaders, right? The leaders is missing because this question is asked to the leader, right? So the leader is missing, and the leader is the one that is going to be able to connect the team to be able to drive the hardware aspect of the transformation, right? So that role is missing from this. Okay, so I would just show this here. McKinsey have done a elaborated study on what are the factors ensuring successful transformation. And these are the ones, and you see that for those sectors where there is a lot of difference between the successful organization driving transformation for the less so one, you see that many of the yellow color one are actually relating to the hardware part of things, right? Establishing clear change story for transformation, creating the sense of urgency, ensuring collaboration, so on and so forth. Okay, so the the facts are out there, right? That people do need to pay special attention to bring in the why, bring in the hardware aspect of the transformation journey. And out of the 80 practices that McKinsey have listed out, they put down here 21 that are the most important for ensuring a successful digital transformation. Okay, and if you read through all these, many of them are related to the hardware aspect of the leadership. Okay, so I hope it's clear. Is the why part is important. The people is important. The hardware of enabling people to want to be part of a transformation journey is important. So there's a quote from Toyota: "We first build people, then we build car." Okay, so hardware quality of the digital leader, have a good sense of purpose, why transformation is needed, align it back to the purpose, the mission, the value of the organization, try to connect the two, right? Connect the transformation vision with the organization mission and value. Be able to inspire, listen, learn, empower, more conversation rather than giving out instructions. Embrace change, allow for risk-taking, allow for experimentation, allow for failure. People are important, so there's a need to develop the talent pipeline, not just at the start of the transformation journey, but along the transformation journey, right? Because different people, different types of talent will be required as the organization embark on the transformation. And as leader, you must be a firm believer that what good digital can deliver and how it can transform the life of your customers and stakeholders. Okay, so what I've covered sounded perhaps straightforward. Okay, we need to understand, to learn, but clearly to be able to become a master of all these things takes a long time. And that is where I would just briefly talk about the program. Okay, so we do offer this MTech digital leadership program. It's a master's degree program that we have curated. We have 2 batch of students going through the program right now. And the program is organized into 4 pillars, right? 3 pillars of course. So the first pillar, practice of digital business, is really about the what. What is digital business all about, right? What are the levers driving digital business? The second pillar is the how. How do you go about enabling digital transformation, right? So we talk about how do you use strategy, how do you do foresight planning, how do we design a open and flexible digital architecture to support the digital business. And then finally, we have the digital leadership and people, right? So this is clearly about the who, right? About talent, pathway, how the leader manage complexity, how do we look at digital governance, and across the three pillar, right? The what, the how, and the who. We talk about the why. Okay, every course module that we go through, we will talk about the why. Why do people want to come with you on the transformation journey, and how as leader you should make sure that the message of why and the message to be able to motivate and inspire the team is clearly communicated. Okay, and then finally there is the leadership capstone project, which will happen on the second year of the course, where the participant will apply what they have learned across the 9 course module to a real organization, to help the organization to enable transformation, enable change. Okay, so the program has two different learning pathway. We have the 2-year part-time master's program, which is what we call the True Train program. We also offer the stackable pathway, right, in the form of a digital leadership professional certificate. So we understand that there are some of the people coming to this who may not have the time, or perhaps their priority is not to get the master's degree, right? So, but they still want to learn certain aspect of what the program offer. So this is where they can decide to sign up for any of the 9 courses, and they will join the master students to complete the course and eventually to be awarded the professional certificate, right? And at the same time, as those people go through that, we will recognize those professional certificate. So eventually, if the person decides, hey, I'm ready to want to, pursue the full master's program, those professional certificate will earn credit towards the master's degree. Okay, so they don't have to repeat the courses that they have taken. Okay, so admission requirement, all these are available on the website. I shan't go through it. These are the participants currently on the 2 cohort. So you can see we have a diverse group of people, both from the private as well as from the public sector, right, across different industry sector. Okay, so a fairly seasoned, experienced professional and leaders on this program. We're talking about the average work experience of participant of 18 years, right? So I encourage those who are listening in, if you are keen to want to take on some serious learning, consider the masters, consider the professional certificate program that we are offering. Okay, in fact, the application for next year's intake 2022 is ongoing now. We will close the first round of application 30th June, end of this month. And then we'll be looking at starting the next cohort in January 2022 with the summer school. So something for all of you to consider as well. Okay, so I've come to the end of my presentation. How long have I taken? Maybe 40 minutes. I think I have some time for questions if there is any. Is there anyone with any questions? How do I see? Uh, okay. Okay, so I'm just looking at the chat. Among people, processes, and technology, which one should we address first for digital? Okay, so I will answer this in a context. If you are the digital, you are the leader, right? If you are leader, driving the transformation. Okay, and you must believe that we must believe that we do have the technology, we do have the talent. So if you ask me this question as a leader, I think you will have to focus on the people. The people is important, right? The people to want to. So you look at just now, I mentioned the second challenge, right? The second leadership challenge where staff are less than engaged. Right? We're talking just about 12% of our workforce fully engaged in the work that they are doing. So as a leader, how do you appeal to your workforce to want to join you on the journey? I think is very important. Okay, so hopefully that address the first question. Let me see, what is the second? How do we motivate staff in difficult times to embrace digital transformation? Okay, how do we motivate? I think the environment is important, right? So we mostly are working from home by default, right? So enabling your workforce to be effective, to be able to work from home. At the same time, taking care of um, the whether is it uh, the work-life balance, the mental, the health aspect is important, right? So already we read from the papers that people are working harder and longer hours even though they are working from home. So if you're a leader who is driving transformation, right, with a good part of your team working from home, then how do you make sure that they are adequately supported? Adequately supported both in hardware, in the software, i.e. all the the development environment, the digital tools and what have you, but also the hardware, right? The heart, the 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 feeling, right? The how do you continue to motivate them and keep their spirit high and running? Those are important things. So create avenues, create opportunities for the workforce to. So we talk about safe safe no reduce uh, safe distancing, right? Safe distancing, right? So it's not about social distancing, right? It's about physical distancing by continuing to maintain the social connection, right? And then how as a leader you can enable that while we are still in the COVID situation. In this time of COVID, how do we convince management to allocate the right budget to embark on digital transformation project? How do we convince management to allocate? The news yesterday said that there's going to be a lot of budget. Okay, so budget is there. How do you convince? And again, if I relate back to my presentation, the why is important, right? How do you appeal to the management? How do you help management address their concern, their needs? How do you bring in the needs of your customer, your stakeholder, and how do you paint the story? How do you tell the story so that you appeal to the heart, to the feeling of your management, to say that yeah, this is the right thing to do. This is good for our citizens, right? And I say, right, a transformation journey is very difficult to always quantify the ROI. So being able to appeal to the hearts, to the feeling, to the thinking of your management, so that they too will buy your story, I think will be the way to help secure the budget. So once they believe in your why, I think the what part, the how part will be much easier to communicate. Okay, so I think those are the questions. And okay, I hope this little sharing is useful. I don't think this is at all unfamiliar. Even about the why. If I mean, all of you are from the public sector, right? The government knows about things like asking 5 whys, things like the Kaizen continuous improvement, right? So those are familiar ways of doing things. It's just needed. We just need to take that and apply it the same, right? Apply the same towards digital transformation. Okay, so wait, there's one more question. Does NUS-ISS conduct any customized course for organization similar to a certificate course? Yeah, we do. We do customized course, corporate classes. That is how we refer to. So we are happy to discuss. We are happy to discuss what might be the scope, the content, who are the audience, what's expectation, and what have you. Okay, so there is another question. After the heart and why is addressed, what are the pros, cons of approach such as 1, management top-down, drive a few mega projects to propagate further organization change, management encourage many bottom-up. Okay, so whether it's top-down or bottom-up, the two have to meet somewhere, right? Certain things you need your management to support, right? Multi-million project, multi-year project where you need to bring across different agency, ministries to work together, collaborate. You certainly need top management to try to clear that hurdle, right? But on the other hand, we talked about a lot of collaboration, a lot of experimentation, a lot about trying things, engaging the ground. Then I think management should then encourage bottoms up, right? We want to always delegate things to the lowest level where the level is able to execute. And for the lowest level, right, to be able to execute, to feel empowered that they can do the job, right? So it's both top down as well as bottom up, depending on what kind of situation and problem that we're trying to address. And a digital transformation program will have both of these kind of challenges and issues to tackle. Okay, I think that is all the time that I have. Thank you all for coming to the session. I hope the little sharing is useful. And certainly, I'm reachable. My email is very simple: isstan@nus.edu.sg. I'll be happy if anyone have any questions or queries. Whether it's about what I presented or what I shared about the programs that we have. I'll be happy to speak to or to take questions over email if you reach out to me. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good evening and a good weekend.